Hello and welcome to Behind the Bearcat. This is the podcast where the Northwest Missouri State University Career Services Office chats with Northwest faculty, staff, students, alumni, and friends to hear about their career journey, how they got to where they are, and how they became Bearcats. I'm Northwest Internship Coordinator Travis Kline.
And I'm Hannah Christian, Assistant Director of Career Services.
And today we are joined by Tubias Johnson, who is the president of the Northwest Black Student Union and a current Northwest student. Hi, Tubias.
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here.
All right. We love to hear about your experience. Usually when I talk to students, one of the first things that I ask them is, how did you come to Northwest? Like, how did you, from high school, that high school to college transition, how did you find Northwest, and what made you decide to come here?
So I decided to come to Northwest. I had a few actual college tours. So my junior year, I came up to Northwest and I got to meet some of the current students of that time, and then faculty members and things like that. And it was really a small school. I had no idea about Maryville. I had no idea outside of St. Louis. I didn't really know much of Missouri. So I came and visited the school. It was small. I kind of liked the atmosphere of it. But then fast forwarding to my graduation, it's the row in front of me, they're about to be announced, and then I get an email from Northwest, and it's my financial aid package, and it's oh yeah, they had laptops too, yeah, I want to go to Northwest. So ended up coming to Northwest, and then been here ever since.
So where are you from originally? Are you from the St. Louis area?
Yeah, St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised.
So, okay, back up a little bit. When you were in high school, I always ask about your first job, but before we get to that, we're just going to kind of go slowly backwards by increments here. What is your major?
Oh, my major is human service with a minor in English.
Did you know that you were going to be a human services major when you came to college? Talk to me about choosing your major.
All right, so early on, my middle school days, wow, we're starting all the way back. Yeah, my middle school days, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. Growing up in the St. Louis area, going into inner city schools and things like that, there were a lack of minority teachers, specifically black male teachers. And so as I just grew over the years and continued out through school, I always realized that the professors or the teachers that I did have that were black males, I always learned from them, more the things that they taught me, they always resonated with me, or I understood them more.
Any particular teacher you want to shout out to?
Oh, man,
this is your
shout
opportunity.
out to Mr. Ford from Ford Elementary. Shout out to Mr. Anderson at Live for Life Academy. And shout out to Mr. Betts, Coach Betts. Coach Betts, he's that's a whole nother story. But yeah, he was just all of these men, it was just an undescribable essence about them. And that's what the steps I wanted to follow. So I say my junior year of high school was I wanted to be a teacher. I was up on my credits at the time, so I was able to actually do student teaching. And I was a student teacher for my art teacher, Miss Brand. Shout out to Miss Brand as well. So just being in the classroom, I wasn't actually teaching lessons or anything, but it was I was in the atmosphere, helping her, going over lesson plans and things like that. And then I just knew I wanted to be a teacher.
And you enjoyed that process,
it was
right?
fun. It was I'm actually doing something this is fun. So I got to college and it's I wanted to do secondary English education. And so that was my major at first. And then from there, that summer after my freshman year, I worked at the YMCA, South City YMCA day camp. And that was an amazing thing. I got to work with students from the age of 5 all the way to 12, 13. And that's when I knew okay, well maybe the older kids, not for me. I want to deal more with elementary schoolers. So I switched to elementary education, and I loved it. I got to do field experiences. I got an opportunity to travel and do student teaching in Kansas City area. And then after a while, I got more invested in the college life. And so being a part of organizations, being a peer mentor for the TRIO program, I knew maybe this is what I want to do. So over time, it's I learned more about human services and the ideas behind our human services and that field. That was more so that's my passion. That's what I wanted to do. And from there,
so are you a senior now?
Yeah.
Senior. When did you change to human services? Where during your college, were you a sophomore, junior?
No, I was actually, I changed last fall.
Okay.
So last fall I was yeah.
Right at the end, kind of.
So it's I only had a few more credits left, but you know what? I want to do human services. So I did it. I made the change, and from there, it's been nothing but good.
So what's the career goal when you get done here at the end of the year?
Oh man, career goal when I get done.
Put it out in the world.
Yeah, have a career. I would like to do like academic advising, or the things like you all do at career services. Being on like the secondary higher ed level, like it's anything I can do like within that field. Not anything I can do within that field, but where any position I can be in where I can help students to like be successful in college, and not just be successful in college, but flourish throughout life. That's my dream career. Yeah.
All right, you heard it here. That's what Tubias is throwing out there. That's what he's looking for. All right, let's go back to the beginning of Tubias. So your very first job definition, you have to be paid for it.
Okay.
And it wasn't your parents paying you to do the dishes or whatever,
Right. My first job. I'm sorry, because it has been like those times. Like, well, okay, I'll give you $10.
Yeah,
to like, wash the car
right.
or something like that. My first job. Okay, yeah, my first like official job, I was a fry cook at McDonald's.
All right, high five.
Yeah.
I was also, we had a big, that was the thing in our town. Like the only thing to do when you were like 15 and a half was work at McDonald's. So every student who went out in the wide world started as a fry cook at McDonald's.
Yeah, that's how it really is in St. Louis. Like either you're working at the mall in St. Louis, you're working at Six Flags, or you're working at the zoo. I knew I didn't want to be like outside in the heat, so I did not want to be at an amusement park or the zoo. So I got the opportunity to work at McDonald's as a fry cook.
What'd you learn as a fry cook?
As a fry cook, I learned that people really do love fast food. And
they love fries.
Yeah.
Like literally fry cook. Like I was a fry person, 7 minutes.
See,
those
I never got the opportunity to do the fry side. Like the way like the McDonald's was set up, like you had like a designated fry person, you had a cashier.
I was the fry person.
I was the grill master. Okay. So yeah. But yeah, I just learned that, and then just like, I guess time, the balance of time. You can easily like be sitting in a McDonald's at 9 at night for an hour and a half, just like sitting there, like staring at
waiting for people to come get a burger.
Yes,
right?
Staring at food like you can't eat, like you're standing like in a uniform, like you don't. It's exhausting, but at the same time, it's like so much other things that like you can be thinking about. Like it really is just like a test of mine. It's something about just standing there at a grill for 8 hours at a time.
Did you work at McDonald's through high school?
No, I did McDonald's for a year, and then I was blessed with the opportunity to work for a magazine company called On the Money Magazines. It's a St. Louis-based magazine company that's like put on and produced by students throughout the St. Louis area. That was like one of my
What'd you do
jobs.
At the magazine?
I was an editor, also did writing, and then I was a photographer as well. Yeah, and then we did like a lot of community outreach. So it was times like we go out into the community and host the events, or do like broadcasting, or just like have a table set up like to get more people financial literacy and things like that.
How'd you find that opportunity? Were you like looking for something else, or
No.
did they come to you?
Yeah, they so all the opportunities that I came they came from like my school. So we had people like we had representatives from Northwest come. We had people from On the Money magazine come and like just talk to us about it. But I knew early on that like I loved writing. Like writing has always been a passion of mine. So when they came to my school and like spoke about it, like I was ready for it.
I'm on it. I'm right there.
It was like I got to get out of McDonald's.
So what school did you go to?
Live for Life Academy.
So talk to us about that.
Live for Life Academy. That's really like the nesting point of everything. And it's ironic because like the school mascot is a hawk. Live for Life Academy. It's a charter school located in South City, St. Louis, in Soulard, the Soulard area. It's like 5 minutes from the Arch, for like people that don't really know that area. But it went from 6th through 12th. I got there my 7th grade. Yeah, I transferred in Live for Life from 7th grade, and from there I stayed all the way through. That's one of like, I can definitely say like I'm the man I am today because of Live for Life Academy. Like
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great school.
So you came to Northwest, thought you wanted to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. How did you get plugged in when you came here? Like, what was your thoughts toward like coming to Northwest? So this is a whole different atmosphere, whole different school, whole different people. Did you know people? Did some people came here? Or?
No, I came. Well, a lot of the people that I graduated with, they went to SEMO or they went, schools throughout the area, like the bigger schools. The reason I chose Northwest was because it was such a small school, and like I didn't know anybody that was going to Northwest. Like I didn't know it existed until like we got there. So there was really like nobody here like to help me until like I got here. I'm also a bridge scholar as well through the TRIO program. So I got here like the first day, and like my family's got, just like my crate of clothes. Like we don't know where we're at. We pull into the Dietrich parking lot, and TRIO was just like right there, like with bins like waiting for me. I was the last I was the last person in my bridge class to like get here. So like everybody had like ate and everything, but like they were up just waiting for me because St. Louis is extremely far from Maryville. But yeah, like ever since like we pulled into that Dietrich lot, TRIO has been there like every step of the way. So that's definitely like a group of people that was like there from the very beginning. And then during my SOAR visit, I met Ed Gibson. He's a former coordinator for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And since then, like he's been like my mentor. Like I had no idea who this man was, but like I was
shout out to Ed as well.
Yeah, shout out to Ed Gibson. Like he's really the GOAT. I was very introverted. I'm still introverted like to this day, but my freshman year, like I would just go into the student engagement center and I just sit there like do my homework in between classes. And he would always just like walk up and like, hey, how you doing? Like he would ask me how classes were going. He would ask me, did I need anything or things like that. And it was like in the beginning I'm hesitant, like I'm not like used to, I'm not used to like that caringness, like when it comes to like my education and things like that, other than like from my parents. So it was just like real like off-putting at first, but then over time it's like, wow, like he's actually like taking time out of his day to, whether it's just like 15 seconds, he's investing time in me to like make sure I'm good, making sure like I have things I needed. And that's really like took me a long way. He's the one that like opened me up to that sense of like building confidence. Like I saw him like going to work, I saw him still socializing with students and like being invested in students' lives and things like that. And so he was really just like a mentor, like to help me like navigate through college from just like a personal level outside of TRIO.
So you mentioned TRIO, and yeah. I feel like that's one of those programs that students who are in it are super familiar with it, but students who aren't in it don't know anything about it. So can you talk about TRIO and kind of what the group does?
All right. So yeah, Student Support Services TRIO is basically a program for first generation students that come from low social backgrounds and things like that. It just helps them like get onto like that level playing field, that many of the college students already come in with. I know as a first generation student, like I said, it was scary to like be driving 5 hours with, a tote of all my belongings.
To somewhere that you don't even know anybody.
Somewhere I'd never been before and I had no idea. And then like I didn't come into college with like money. I didn't have any of that. So just like lost, like really just like thrown out into the wild in a sense. And TRIO was there like every step of the way, as I mentioned, and they helped me figure out what classes I needed to get into. They showed me like what all the buildings were. They showed me where my classes were. They provide opportunities like free printing. They put on we put on different programs throughout the semester just to like help students like better get better acclimated throughout campus. So whether it be on a career level, on a financial level, on just personal level, taking care of yourself and things like that. TRIO is really just like there to be like that guide throughout college for first generation students. So like all the students that fit the criteria, but then as well like all of these events are open to like students on campus, to the entire Northwest community. So yeah, it's really just like here to help.
We've had a lot, and when I say we, I mean the staff on campus have had a lot of discussions lately about first-generation students because we have increasing numbers of first-gen students coming to Northwest. Can you talk a little bit about that lost feeling or what things, so you talked about Ed, you talked about TRIO, like what specific things that faculty, staff, other students, maybe other student leaders or mentors have done to help you feel comfortable here or to help make your transition easier?
Okay, and then a part of my transition as well, like she like take my head off if I didn't mention her. Gabby Ray, she was also there every step of the way. And so to answer your question, it was people like Ed and Gabby that really just like invested themselves in their students. It was, like I said, I was very introverted. I didn't talk much, but Gabby, she saw something in me. She believed in me. And so it would be bi-weekly. We would have bi-weekly meetings just to talk about how am I doing in classes? How am I feeling? Is there anything I need? Things like that. And I feel like that's, though it seems very minor, like that's a key aspect that I feel like a lot of us are like missing, not just as Northwest faculty members or staff or things like that, just us as individuals. People become very hesitant on asking someone how do they feel or what do they need, or people feel as though like it's a manipulative agenda behind it, to ask for help or to want to receive help from someone. And that's really not what it is. Like we're all here, like just trying to succeed, whether you're a student, whether you're a faculty member, staff member, anything, like we're all just here. So I just feel like the thing that we all need is just to be open with each other and be honest with each other. Like, if it's something that we need, like, you know, I was always raised on like the idea of like closed mouths don't get fed, you know. So like if you need like if you're in need of help, you know, like there are people here that can help you, you know. So it's just a matter of like knowing who can help, and then also like those people, you know, actually being there and available to help.
That's some good insight.
Thank you.
So talk to us about, so you're president of the Black Student Union,
Yes.
right? Talk to us about that.
Oh man.
How did you become president? Tell us the story of
The story of the Black
Tobias
Student
and the Black
Union.
Student Union. Yep.
All right, so my sophomore year, towards the end of my sophomore year, I was brought the opportunity by Ed of forming the Black Student Union. So of course it's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. By then I had been involved in Minority Men's Organization. I was a mentor for the B-Man program that Ed brought up here as well. And then just like throughout campus, like I was just starting to like learn what Northwest was and things like that. So the opportunity came about, and it was just a small group of students, and from like the very beginning, we would just like go over like, okay, these are the bylaws, like, you know, what do we want, like what is the purpose, what is our goal as a Black Student Union. But over time, you know, people graduate, people leave, people come, things like that. So the idea was just sitting. It floated about for a while, and then this time last year, the opportunity came up again to like, okay, like let's get a Black Student Union up and going. And so when the opportunity came back, like I just hopped on it. From there, we got another group of students. We went over like the bylaws. We went over like what do we want to see, what is the vision for the organization. And so luckily we were able to get everything together. And then March of 2019, the Black Student Union came to Northwest. Since then, things have been going good. Like we're a new organization, but we've already done so much. We just our most recent event was the MLK CPR training that we did. And then, of course, we had the Black Student Union Week in February 10th through the 13th. And that's our first Black Student Union Week. Like, it's very, like... It's
new, fresh,
it's really,
exciting,
like, new,
right?
yeah. Even though, like, all of us on our executive board, like we have experience, like we've been involved in other organizations on campus. It's like something about like this is our first like event, and we were all like excited for this. Like this is something that went from just being like an idea, you know, on a piece of paper to like now like we're actually like working with career services. We're working with the trio. We're working with student orientation and things like that. So it's really just like an exciting opportunity, and like we're learning as we go. And I'm just proud of my entire board. I'm proud. Like I get emotional thinking about it. Like I'm really just proud. Like for all these student organizations, people forget that whether like you're a president, whether you're a sergeant at arms, things like that, like we're all students. And not even that, like we're like from the age of 20 to 23, like we're teenagers still, basically practically. So I'm just proud of like all the effort and like the passion that, you know, we already have in this. So I can only imagine like where things are going to go like over years and over time.
So what is the mission of the Black Student Union?
Mission of the Black Student Union is to maintain a climate on campus for students of color, as well as, you know, spreading that knowledge and spreading like support and resources for students of color on campus. So whether it be in a social manner, whether it be in career goals, career pathing manner, things like that, we're just really just like here to help students of color. So we're putting on events, we're putting on like we have general meetings where we talk about things that we talk about a lot of the topics that don't really get discussed, you know, within our classes or within these other organizations on through our campus. We're just here to like set that climate and make sure that students of color on campus are comfortable.
Something we usually do on this, we ask for advice, like advice you would have for students. So as you near your end of your journey here at Northwest, you know, thinking about students maybe coming in for the first time, what advice would you have for them as someone who's successfully navigated this whole maze of college?
Successful? I would say for someone just coming into college, be open. Be open to opportunities. So whether it be joining an organization, whether it be, you know, not wanting to go out or not wanting, you know, to like follow the crowd. Of course, be open to it, but then like think about what it is you want out of college and then seek that. For people that are returning from college, people that are currently in college, take care of yourself. Like that's all the way through, whether it be you're coming in or whether it be you're about to get out of college as well. Like, take care of yourself. It's easy to get wrapped up in your classes, easy to get wrapped up in your family life, social life, things like that. But if you're not at your best, then like, what good are you to anybody? So I would always say just like take care of yourself, even if it's like 5 minutes out of your day to like just be alone and, you know, having time to yourself to think, debrief, whatever it is you need to do. Take care of yourself. That's most important.
I think that's good advice for everybody, not just students, but for adults, for staff members, for faculty, for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets hard. Like, it's easy to say, like, yeah, I'm gonna take 18 credit hours and I'm gonna join 4 organizations, and then on top of that, like, I'm gonna try to work too because, you know,
because I need to have some money, right?
Yeah, but in the midst of all of that, the priority on that entire priority list, like, you should be number one as always, and that's something that I didn't learn that until like last semester, switching over into human services. Thank you, Chris Jacobs and Sarah Creason. But yeah, taking care of yourself, like, is vital, and it plays a role in everything you do. If you, whether it be like not getting enough sleep or even just like drinking water, like, I always joke with people throughout campus and like on like drinking water, like, I end all of my meetings with like, make sure you're drinking water. Like, my peer mentees and things like that, I always tell them, like, drink water. And it's not like
that's for real. Like, that's my biggest struggle is drinking water.
And it's not like to joke. It's really like those small little things like really help. And I feel like we just take those for granted. So people just gotta learn how to take 2020. Like, we have to take care of ourselves. Like, it's extremely important.
That's a good piece of advice. I'm taking it to heart right now as I drink my water. So we have kind of a last question. Very interested in your answer to this question. We've started asking everyone we interview to kind of reflect on their experience and to share with us what it means to them to be a Bearcat.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm in the homecoming court racing again. To be a Bearcat to me means to be individual. A Bearcat, first off, nobody really knows what a Bearcat is. Like, I've never seen a Bearcat. Like, we've seen black scores on campus. I've never seen a Bearcat in my life ever. But to me, I feel like there's just an opportunity and a symbol of uniqueness. That's what we all are. So no matter if you come from Platte City or no matter if you come from Kansas City, Kansas, you know, like, you're a Bearcat. Once you step on the Northwest campus, you're a Bearcat at that point. So that just means to, like, be unique, be individual, and then with all of us having that title of a Bearcat, like, you're not alone. You know, there are Bearcats everywhere. People always talk about how, you know, you go anywhere in the world, like, but you see like the Northwest logo, you're going to know, okay, it's a Bearcat in the room. So just like being unique, being individual, but then another thing Bearcats have in common is like that aspect of taking care of one another. I've seen that whether it be in my organizations or organizations like throughout campus. Like, if you're part of that organization or if you're a part of that community, like, you're taken care of, and that's something I can honestly like speak on. Like, the Bearcat students, like Northwest students, they really take care of each other. Even if it's not like on an organizational level or it's not on, you know, like some extreme elaborate level, like, the support system that you have at Northwest, like, that's going to be your support system, like, for years to come. And that's something that I've seen, like, personally firsthand, and that's something that I know that, like, I'm going to continue to do, just because it takes a unique person to come, you know, from St. Louis to Missouri to Maryville, Missouri, and, you know, build a life for themselves. So definitely, like, being a Bearcat means to be unique and then also to take care of, you know, your fellow Bearcat.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thank
fantastic.
you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. All right, well, that will do it for another Behind the Bearcat, and we will talk to you next time. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to follow on your podcast platform of choice and on YouTube. Also, click the little notification bell on YouTube so you never miss an upload. And you can follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and we have a LinkedIn page.